Have you ever watched a baby stare deeply at a completely empty corner of the room? Not glancing, not drifting, but staring with the kind of focused, wide-eyed intensity that adults only use when they are looking at something real and significant. And felt a chill move quietly through you because in that moment, despite everything you know and everything you believe, some small irrational part of your brain whispered, "What if they can see something that I cannot?" That moment is more common than you think, and parents across every culture and every continent have described it with a remarkably similar mixture of wonder and unease. And what science has discovered about what is actually happening inside a baby's visual and cognitive world in those early months is so astonishing, so genuinely strange, and so profoundly different from your own experience of seeing and perceiving and understanding reality that by the time this video ends, you will not just have an answer to that question, you will have something richer and more unsettling and ultimately more beautiful than any answer. You will have a completely new understanding of what it means to see and why the baby's version of seeing is something you have not experienced since before you can remember. Let us begin with the raw biology, because the starting point of the story is both humbling and extraordinary. A newborn baby, in the first moments after birth, can only see the world in a range of roughly 8 to 12 inches with any clarity at all, and beyond that narrow window, everything dissolves into a blur of light and shape and movement without definition or detail, which means that the vast, richly detailed world you are looking at right now, the world of faces and trees and text and color and distance and depth, is simply not available to a newborn. It does not exist for them yet. And this is not a flaw or a failure. It is a design, because nature calibrated the newborn's visual range to match almost perfectly the distance between a feeding mother's face and the baby's eyes, the single most important visual target in the entire early universe of a newborn. The face that means survival and warmth and safety and everything that matters. But here is what most people do not know. While a newborn's ability to see detail is severely limited, their sensitivity to certain other things that adults have learned to filter out, to ignore, to move past without conscious registration, is extraordinarily, almost disturbingly high. Newborns are acutely sensitive to contrast, to motion at the periphery of their visual field, to light and shadow, and most fascinatingly, to biological motion, which is the specific pattern of movement produced by living things. And research has shown that babies only a few days old will preferentially track patterns of biological motion, even when those patterns are presented as nothing more than dots of light moving in the characteristic rhythm of a walking human being, meaning that built into the newborn brain from the very first hours of life is a detector for living things, a system that scans the visual field specifically for the signature of life, and this detector is sensitive and active and running constantly, which means that a baby is not seeing the world the way you see it. They are scanning it with a biological life detection system that you switched off years ago because you no longer needed it the way they do. Now consider what this means for the famous empty corner stare. The adult brain, saturated with decades of experience, has built an elaborate and highly efficient system for deciding what is worth paying attention to and what is not. Neuroscientists call this system predictive coding, and it essentially means that your brain is constantly generating predictions about what you are about to see based on everything you have already seen in your lifetime. And when reality matches the prediction, the brain does not bother to fully process it consciously. It just registers, expected, move on. Which is why you can walk through a room you know well and see almost nothing. Why familiar faces become almost invisible. Why you stop noticing the hum of the refrigerator or the weight of your clothes or the particular quality of the light in the room you have been in all day. A baby has none of this. A baby arrives with no predictions, no templates, no library of already seen things to compare the present moment against, and so every single thing in the visual field is processed at full intensity, full novelty, full conscious weight, which means a baby is not seeing less than you. They are in certain crucial ways seeing more, experiencing the raw, unfiltered data of the visual world before any of it has been sorted, discounted, categorized, or explained away. And what looks like staring at nothing is often a brain doing something that your brain has long since stopped doing, treating everything as if it might be significant, as if it might be alive, as if it has not been seen before. Because it has not. Here is the first twist that tends to stop people mid-breath. Researchers at Harvard and MIT studying infant perception discovered that babies are not just sensitive to faces, they are sensitive to face-like patterns, arrangements of light and shadow that contain the rough geometry of two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. And they will orient toward and engage with these patterns, even when the patterns are not faces at all, even when they are accidental arrangements of light on a ceiling, shadow on a curtain, the texture of a fabric, the contrast of a wall and a window. And this system, called face pareidolia, is not unique to babies. It is present in adults too. It is why we see faces in clouds and wood grain and toast. But in adults, it is a background process, a mild quirk that surfaces occasionally, while in babies, it is a primary and dominant mode of engaging with the visual world, meaning a baby moving through a room is not seeing furniture and walls and objects. They are running an almost continuous face detection scan across everything, finding possible faces in shadows and textures and contrasts and angles, orienting toward each one with genuine attention, responding to some of them with what looks, for all the world, like social engagement, which is why a baby will sometimes appear to be smiling at or responding to something that is not there, because to their face detection system, something very much like a face is there. And this is where the story becomes genuinely and beautifully strange, because the face detection system in the infant brain is not just looking for faces, it is looking for signals of emotional expression on those faces, and it has been designed by evolution to be exquisitely sensitive to the kind of high contrast, high movement, emotionally expressive stimuli that might communicate danger or safety at a distance, which means babies are particularly drawn to things that move unexpectedly, that change contrast suddenly, that pulse or flicker or shift in ways that in nature would often signal something alive and emotionally significant, something that needs to be watched, something that might be a threat or a caregiver, or something entirely new. The shadows that shift when a cloud passes, the flicker of light through curtains moving in a breeze, the way a reflection moves on a wall. These are not nothing to a baby's visual system. They are events, and some of them tick enough of the biological boxes to trigger genuine social engagement from a brain that is still learning to distinguish between what is alive and what merely looks like it might be. Now here is the second twist, and it is the one that most fundamentally changes how you understand the baby's perceptual world. Researchers studying infant perception have discovered that babies process reality with a fundamentally different architecture of attention than adults do. And the most striking difference is this. Adults see the world in what psychologists call object mode, meaning the brain automatically passes the visual field into discrete, bounded, named objects, chair, table, window, lamp, that exist separately from each other and from the background. And this passing happens so fast and so automatically that it feels like simply seeing rather than like a sophisticated interpretive process. Babies do not do this. The infant brain does not yet have the categories, the learned boundaries, the accumulated experience required to pass the world into objects in the adult sense, and so babies experience the visual world as something far more fluid, more continuous, more undivided. They see flows of light and contrast, and motion and color that shift and interact. Edges that are not yet the boundaries of named things. Faces that emerge from and dissolve back into a field of experience that has not yet been sorted into the neat taxonomy of the adult world. And what this means is that a baby staring at a corner of the room may not be staring at what you would call nothing. They may be responding to a pattern of light, a flow of contrast, a peripheral motion, a shadow configuration that their face detection system flagged as potentially significant, and the baby is doing what their brain was built to do, which is to pay full, unfiltered, completely serious attention to it. There is also something that developmental psychologists call visual noise, the random firings and spontaneous activations of a visual system that is still being calibrated and connected, still laying down the neural pathways between the eye and the cortex, still learning to distinguish signal from static. And researchers believe that some of what babies appear to see in early infancy may actually be internally generated, vivid experiences of the visual system processing and testing itself, patterns and movements, and maybe even quasi-faces that exist not in the room but in the developing architecture of the visual brain itself, which adds another layer of genuine mystery to the question of what exactly a baby is seeing when they look at nothing and then smile. And underneath all of this biology and neuroscience and perception research, there is a philosophical idea that is worth sitting with for a moment, because the story of baby vision is really a story about how much of what we call reality is construction, is the product of decades of learning and expectation and categorization and prediction, and how the version of reality that feels to adults like simply the way things are is actually one particular interpretation of the raw data of the world, an interpretation that is immensely useful and efficient and socially shared, but that leaves out an enormous amount, that filters and discounts and ignores vast regions of experience in order to function smoothly in a familiar world. A baby has not yet built that interpretation. A baby is living in the raw data, experiencing the world before it has been edited, before the brain has decided what matters and what does not, before experience has taught them what to see and what to overlook, and that state, that wide open, unfiltered, nothing discounted state of full perceptual aliveness, is something that mystics and meditators and artists spend years and decades trying to recover even a fragment of. The experience of seeing as if for the first time, of meeting the present moment without the overlay of prediction and category and name. Your baby is living there right now, naturally and completely, in a perceptual world so rich and so strange and so alive with signal that you would probably find it overwhelming if you could step into it for even a few minutes. And the next time they fix their gaze on that empty corner and you feel that small chill of the inexplicable, you can let the mystery live for a moment before you explain it away. Because the truth is that the explanation is even more mysterious than the ghost story. The baby is not seeing something supernatural. They are seeing something arguably more extraordinary. They are seeing the world without the filters, meeting reality without the edits, living in a perceptual universe so different from yours that the two of you, sitting in the same room, looking in the same direction, are not entirely seeing the same thing at all. And there is something in that, something quietly astonishing about the fact that the smallest, newest, least experienced person in the room may be the one who is, in certain strange and important ways, the most awake to what is actually there.